quick break. I just want to say thank you for all the people around the world: Jamaica, Germany, Asia, Europe, South America. Thank you for listening to Leap of Health. Thank you for the support. And remember, my book is out. You can find it on Barnes and Nobles and Amazon. It's called Parents Are Greatest Teachers. Thank you again for all the support. And now back to our episode. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Alex Valgood, and this is Leap of Health. And today we have Dr. Jacqueline Gutierrez. She's a doctor in natural medicine, holistic practitioner, and she does a lot of different things. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and we're going to be talking today about parasites and what they do to our body and what can we do to take them out of our body and all that. But before that, tell us a little bit about your story and how you became to be this holistic practitioner in natural medicine.
Oh, I always think like, where did it start? Probably it started when I was conceived. But I guess in a nutshell, when I was 9 years old, my dad died and he had cancer, and I saw him go through all the traditional treatments, and that pretty much killed him, unfortunately. I think that, after knowing what I know now, like he could have probably healed if he did the right things, unfortunately. So, but that's, water under the bridge. It kind of led me down this path of first. Um, really trying to figure out what is going on in this world and this and that led me to Jesus, really. And as I was developing my faith and trying to figure out more and more what that meant to me, I started going on this path of trying to figure out what my purpose is. And but even in amongst all that, I've had digestive issues and mood challenges and energy challenges all in my 20s, like before I was even really, I think of it fully as an adult. And so here I am, like a young person, and dealing with these things. And I met my husband, and he had, when we started dating, like he had a lot of issues as well too, and he became legally blind. And so in the quest like a lot of practitioners to try to heal ourselves, we keep reading books, and then all of a sudden we decide that we're going to be a practitioner, and we're trying to heal ourselves first, or our family members, and then all of a sudden now you're helping a whole bunch of other people. So that's kind of that in a nutshell. In my lower 20s, I traveled around the world trying to figure this out. Like I just literally got rid of everything, and I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? What do you really want me to do? Because I was definitely not doing what I was supposed to be doing in life. So I think I've found that, and I realize after discovering the lane that I'm supposed to be in, you can have an evolution within that too. So there's been layers of new information that I learn all the time that um, I just find that once I think that it's all about parasites and there's something else, like that there's another reason, there's another layer of detox and another layer of healing that needs to happen and unfold. So I've seen my practice kind of move along with that evolution too.
That's awesome. And we're going to be talking about parasites today. I think a lot of people, when they think parasites, they already think like, oh, like I have to go into this like crazy detox and I don't even know if I have parasites. Or some people are like, you know what? I don't have them. I've never had them. But let's start with that. Like, does everybody has parasites?
Yeah. So we all have parasites. It's just really about how much and how much are you feeding them so that they overgrow. In a nutshell, parasites overgrow because of chaos in the body. So anything that causes the body to be imbalanced can cause the parasites to overgrow. So after working with a ton of clients over the years, I've boiled it down to two different things. If people are toxic and they have frequency imbalances, which could be related to emotional trauma or trapped emotions, that can cause people to overgrow parasites. And so you have to be able to get rid of the parasite. That's where herbs can come in, but you also have to take it a step further to to deal with the toxic burden. And because of the toxic burden, that's why I say everybody has a parasite unless they have dealt with this. And then the other side of it is our body's made of bugs. It has H.
Yes.
pylori and candida and has some parasites. It's really, again, what is throwing the body off of homeostasis so that these are actually overgrowing. And you obviously you can be introduced to new pathogens in the environment, but it's more so of like what is making them pleomorphate to begin with.
Yeah, for sure. I think you touch on a really good point because some of the people that are listening will be like, well, I'm super healthy. Nothing's happened to me. I don't have parasites. But we're full of things, especially good bacteria in our gut too. And so we do have organisms inside ourselves.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
once that's clear, and uh, that way we start like taking care of our body in a different way, because I feel also when a lot of people does all these detox, they might also disturb the good bacteria we have in our body. What's your approach with that?
For making them not destroy all their good bacteria?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think first, aside from detox, like what are people doing naturally that are destroying their good bacteria? So, um, their food, if they have toxins in their food, you're messing up your good bacteria. If you're stressed, you're messing up your good bacteria. If you're not sleeping enough, you're messing up your good bacteria. So there's a lot of different factors that can um, already be a reason why, like medications. I mean, it's a
Right.
toxin. So,
Yeah,
so sorry. Um, so that's the first thing. In terms of the herbs, um, I honestly don't really worry too much about like the actual process that I'm doing with them in terms of their microbiome. Like in terms of like I'm just gonna keep messing up their microbiome with that because I'm closely monitoring where they're at. So I'm seeing you have this parasite. Okay, we need this herb. Okay, you don't have this parasite. Okay, you don't need this herb.
right.
So a lot of people don't really know how to do that type of testing because there's not a lot of labs that are good for that. So I don't really use labs for monitoring parasites, for example. And a lot of things I'm not using labs. I might use some labs to double check and make sure if my muscle testing or my biofrequency scans are, like once they seem like they're fully detoxed. So I guess that makes me not, concerned about that. And then the other side of it is you have to look at the whole person. So the parasite's not the only issue, right? Their microbiome is imbalanced. We have to get rid of the things that don't belong. And if we're just talking about pathogens, the parasites, the fungus, the mold, overgrowth of candida, bacterias, etc. But after that, it's always good to consider that we need to rebuild the gut lining and the body's tissues, anything that might have had weakness. If there's a liver challenge, maybe we need some glandulars to help rebuild the liver. But for the gut, taking spore biotics, like Megaspore is a great product that can help the probiotics to grow in the gut. Um, Prebiotics and there's different things like Mega Mucosa and there's other products I use too to help rebuild the gut lining. So when you're doing that and you're creating an environment where they can grow, then that's again why I'm not really ever thinking, oh, I'm messing up their microbiome more.
For sure. When should be concerned about parasites? Like when should we be like, okay, we need to go with Dr. Jacqueline today because I really feel now I have something. When do
Nice
we get some
symptoms.
symptoms? Like what is it that what's the signal or the moment that we need to be like, I have parasites? Because I feel like a lot of people just live through life never doing a detox or never knowing that they had parasites. How do we know we need to uh, look for a practitioner or really be concerned like maybe I have parasites?
So I actually worked for a leading health company, a supplement company, of that. dealt with parasites. That's where I learned a lot of this stuff.
Hmm.
So here I am hanging out with like the big shots in the parasite realm, and and again, when we talk parasites, you're talking about everything. You're talking about the mold, the heavy metals. So you're talking about all of it. But um, Dr. Todd Watts, my friend, he had I ended up working with him, and so he's known as like the parasite guy, and so
Hmm.
after working with him, and I totally lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
No,
You
it's
were asking, oh, how do you know? Okay,
yeah.
so basically, Dr. Todd Watts would say, well, if you have a pulse, you have a parasite. Like, yeah, so that's how he would
Okay.
basically everybody has parasites.
Yes.
So, I guess I could take that a step further and be like, I mean, if you're not living your best life for some reason, whether you don't feel good, you're not thriving in life, you're moody, you have digestive challenges. Like, how many people alone have all of those things?
Right.
Let alone one. You have skin issues, like you just don't feel good for whatever reason. Like, there could be a parasite that's overgrowing. And just think about it this way: if there's chaos in your life of some sort, if there's some way that your body is imbalanced, these can overgrow. So it's really just about figuring out which ones are overgrowing and how badly, and then addressing it appropriately. That's bio individualized, because a lot of people are just taking random parasite herbs, and that's not good either. Um,
Mhm.
that's when I would actually get concerned about you messing up your microbiome if you're not monitoring it.
Right. And probably too, like not auto prescribe even when it comes to like natural stuff. Because
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, because you might not know that it might not even be helping you. Maybe you might need a different herb to detox or combat these parasites that you have. When are those moments when you get these clients or patients when you're like, wow, you really need to see someone because you have parasites? Like, what are those symptoms when people are like already on that second stage of like, you're getting bad?
You're getting bad. Um, well, mental health challenges are huge with parasites. They can really make us feel anxious, depressed, sad. Any type of emotion that's really extreme, panic attacks. There's a lot of that going on in this
Now,
world,
yeah,
right? Especially, and then we have all these other type of stressors that come in and just kind of compound that. Digestion. I mean, people have digestive issues. There's usually a parasite involved, and these parasites can be big and they can be very microscopic too. So sometimes you can actually see them. You'd
right.
be surprised what I see come out of people. It's unbelievable sometimes. But then sometimes my clients are like, I'm not seeing anything. Like, they get concerned that it's not working. I'm like, no, 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 not all of them you see, and you have to take the proper dose to see them come out if they are there, because a little is not going to get rid of the big parasite of so.
Yeah.
But yeah, digestion issues are huge. I would say like anemia. I mean, there's certain parasites that get into the blood cell and suck the hemoglobin out. So like Babesia as a protozoa is one of those ones. So if you're really fatigued, like for me, when I had parasite issues really badly, I was so tired all the time. And that that is also, a sign that you can have parasites. Have really bad back knee. Oof, it was bad. Definitely moody and couldn't sleep too well. So that's another issue. A lot of people can't sleep very well. And, I'm figuring out certain deficiencies, but that's only going to get you so far unless you get the bug that's eating your food.
Right.
So that can cause a lot of sleep issues, and it can clog up the liver, and that can cause sleep issues as well too. So, um, yeah, sleep issues, mental health, skin issues, anemia, I would say are some of the top things. But I mean, if you look at my forums, there's a whole bunch of things that people can be experiencing on different levels. So
Yeah.
that's why I say if you're off in some way, you're probably dealing with a parasite or some other type of pathogen.
Right.
Lyme is a big one too.
Yeah. And I think it's great just to think about it, right? If you're feeling off and you're feeling like emotionally, maybe you're not okay, or in your gut, or like it's not your usual you and you're feeling a little off, um, even if you go to someone like you and, and get treated for parasites and whatever, it's not that it's not gonna be bad for you anyways to get rid of some parasites, you know,
Mhm.
even if that's not the
Well,
underlining. Hmm.
yeah. And the thing is, with anything with natural health, you don't want to wait until you're not healthy. Like, there's so much you could do before. Now, we're not supposed to say we
Exactly.
prevent anything and all that stuff. So I'm not saying that. But you get my gist, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you can see that you have a parasite at like a smaller, like when I'm muscle testing, I'm looking on a scale of 1 to 1,000. How bad is this situation? If you're at 200 versus 1,000, well, it's not as bad. I mean, it's better to let it get it deal with these things when they're not as bad, right? Versus when it's so overgrown and now you really have to do a crazy detox. Like it could take most of my clients I work with are chronically ill, and you have to deal with this for many, many
All the
months. It
time.
could be even years sometimes of taking different binders and things. I think now that I've discovered this other layer of frequency that needs to be addressed, the process can go a lot faster. Because the thing is, people can get these parasite infections over and over again if they don't fully deal with the whole issue. So that
Mhm.
could not only be because of the frequency imbalance and the chemicals, but also they're never really getting rid of. They may do a little parasite cleanse and they're not really dealing with the whole parasite issue too.
Mhm.
So you have eggs that are here and then they hatch and then now it grows back. So you see how people can spiral around the mountain, right? On their health with this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Before we talk about the frequency, because I think that's such a cool topic, and I think it's super important for everybody that is listening and it's interested in, doing that cleanse for, get out all the parasites. So a lot of people think that you just need to get some sort of herb or whatever. Sometimes they look online, or sometimes they go with a practitioner. And I guess the process will be like, okay, they take the stuff, they get rid of the parasites, quote unquote. But what are some of the mistakes that people do when they actually, or that they're missing, maybe some steps missing to actually get rid of the parasites?
So there's an idea of a process, and now what I'm doing is I'm taking this process that I've learned down and just bio individualizing it based on where the client is at, because not everyone can just go this step by step process and it's like going to work for everyone because people have different levels of toxicity and trauma and other factors that play around with like how they can approach a detox. So in the beginning, when someone first starts, it used to be you had to think about your drainage. You had to think about your colon and your liver and colon and your gallbladder, your kidneys. Like you have to have these certain organs of elimination working properly. Your lymphatic system is also included in that. So that as you're pulling out your infections and toxins from their hiding place, they can easily come out of your body through your natural elimination channels, your stool and your urine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but after, when you work with enough clients, you start asking questions when different things are happening. And one of those was, there were certain clients that couldn't even handle drainage. Like you give them what it should be phase one, and it's like they're like, I can't even, like, they're so toxic and they're so overburdened that what I realize now is it's their nervous system. So their nervous system is so out of whack that anything they introduce, even hemp oil, like something that should help kind of calm them down, um, would could throw people in a really big detox and their body can't handle it. So that's where frequency can come in, and can come in really in any of that process. But I realize that that seems to be a little bit more of a step one for a lot of people, is that their nervous system is off, not just because of these bugs. The bugs are even probably there because of the frequency imbalance. And, we can frequency, there's emotions are just one idea of frequency. Now there's like frequencies of all kinds of stuff. But it's a really good way to link all this together. So a lot of times people have trauma. Like if you ever think about when you first started having your symptoms, a lot of times people can pinpoint there was something that tipped them over that happened in their life. I moved back home. For me, I moved back home and it was so stressful. And of course, that was a time in my life where I had all that acne and I was so stressed and these parasites were growing. I was living with a parasite at the time. That's a whole different story in itself.
Yeah.
I had to pray that one out of my house. So, anyways, that's a real thing too. So like thinking about the stressors all around you, like if you're trying to do a detox and you're living with a parasite as I was, I'm talking about a really bad stressful relationship, um, then that could be it could be super difficult for someone to get rid of the parasite. So, on that note, like people can be have these frequency imbalances from before, like maybe you had some type of trapped emotions or trauma, or maybe something was passed down. Um, and then maybe that's why that person is now living with you because you can attract that into your life. And then that
Mm-hmm.
can just exacerbate now a parasite to overgrow in your body because there's all this chaos. So, um, anyways, the frequency stuff goes so deep, and I don't think we can cover all of what that looks like, but
Yeah,
those are
for
a couple of
sure.
things. The frequencies to calm the nervous system down, and then the drainage is so key. And then you got to take binders as well to be able to deal with not only the toxins that are present in your body, like heavy metals and chemicals, but you also got to take binders that help get rid of the parasite poop. It's called a biotoxin.
Yes.
So, or design the protocol in a way, like I actually will add some maybe molybdenum or other minerals. You just have to design it in a way where all the different types of toxins that are related, even the toxin that these bugs produce, are being dealt with as well.
Yeah, for sure. And you talk about binders. I think a lot of people miss that step. And as you said, it's like the parasites poop that stays inside. Tell us why it's important and what exactly it's a binder and what it does for this process.
Hmm. So there's certain products that are called binders, but that doesn't mean that they're the only type of binder. In general, humic and fulvic acids are wonderful at binding toxins. So anything that gets rid of a toxin it's binding the toxin and moving it out. It's neutralizing it. It's neutralizing it on its way out too. So when we're talking about drainage products, we're talking about generally I'm using herbs, but anything that really gets the drainage organs moving. So you need both. If you're trying to pull out a toxin or an infection, you need your drainage organs to be moving. But if you can neutralize it also on the way out, then you're not going to be experiencing as much of those Herxheimer reactions as well too, which a lot of people can feel. Now, some binders you can't. Some select people will still feel a bit of detox even with binders. Um, Everyone's different. So that's why it's good to be monitored by a practitioner that understands how to do this process. So, so yeah, a binder can be different types of blends of humic and fulvic acids. There's some that can use antioxidants in them, and that can help um, there's certain minerals and certain vitamins that help to bind different toxins. So it just depends on the type of toxin that a person's dealing with to know how to customize it accordingly. And then greens, like I will sometimes give people green juices. Like there's powdered ones, Ormus greens that I use. I have another blend that I use called Detox and Cleanse, and it has different green powders, but it also has silica and pectins and things like that as well too, and vitamin C. So when we muscle test or I do the Zyto scans, it will show me um, what are the appropriate types of binders to deal with the toxins that we need to deal with.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think as you were saying, there it's so important because I feel like if you miss that step, you will still, you know, grow the you will still keep the toxins or you will still grow the parasites or the whatever bacteria you're having still inside if you keep
Yeah.
the poop or the eggs that they're still around there, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the eggs, that's why it could take a long time because you might kill a bunch of, first of all, it could take some time to kill what's already there. Um, but then let's say you do, well, did you get the eggs? So when I muscle test people, I'm asking also, like, because with muscle testing, I don't know if you've ever done a show on that, but
Mhm.
um, you're asking questions to the body. The body has this biofeedback system that's inborn. So it's like a natural lie detector. And so we can literally ask the body and use certain techniques to figure out, through it's like doing energy medicine almost,
Mhm.
to figure out what's going on. So um, I have these vials that I use, and I was gonna say I'll pull them out, but um, they're not right here. So you take the vial, and I might have a certain parasite that comes up. Well, I could see if let's say it's not there. Well, if it's not there, at some point I might start asking, well, do I still have this person still have the eggs of it
Mhm.
of the
Yeah.
parasite? Because those can hatch, and then now you have a parasite issue again. So
Mhm.
the other thing I'll ask too with these when I muscle test is how and it doesn't always happen because I'm always usually addressing the frequency side, but you can also ask how much of this problem that is here is a frequency imbalance.
Mm.
So I mean these are just like not natural things that a lot of people are asking. So what shows up could be partly infection and partly frequency imbalance when you're muscle testing. Um, so if either way, whether you have the infection or you have the frequency, you could feel like you have it. So
Mhm.
let's say you get to a point where it's just the frequency, well, you can still feel like you have the infection. You'll have the same symptoms. So
Yeah,
it's really strange how that works.
for sure. And you've been talking about frequency, and I know for everybody that is listening, uh, we'll just explain a little bit on how the frequency and what kind of work you do as you're using that frequency for this type of issue as the parasites are.
Yeah, so frequency, that's where we step into the realm of quantum physics. And there's a lot there. Let's just put it that way. I've been really diving in my research with this in the last couple of years since I discovered the how important it was and saw just my clients go to a whole nother level in the results that they're getting by addressing it. And I still feel like there's just so much more to learn. So that's where I was tying in the emotions. So all the emotions have and everything really in this universe has a frequency to it. So even these parasites, the parasites have a frequency, mold has a frequency, Lyme has a frequency. So basically, whatever the body's vibrating at is what we're going to attract or what we're going to potentially overgrow. How with mental health, a lot of times we think about whatever you're thinking is what you might attract in your life. So it literally what our biofield, so it's this we have a field around our body. It's in a shape of a toroid, like an apple. So it goes, the center would be the center of us, and then it goes out around us in this apple toroid looking shape. And
Mm-hmm.
so what is in our biofield is literally like where our mind is. This is where we have little mail slots of our where trauma could be stored. And so if you have a negative event in your life, you could literally be leaking energy in your field, and that could be causing a situation where parasites overgrow. So um, that's all boil down to frequency. When the frequency is in balance, our body is leaking energy. It's leaking and it's leaking light. Like our body actually is made of light.
Mm-hmm.
So when we use different therapies like biofield tuning or the Zyto Evox, and the emotion and body code are the other one that I mainly do. Um, we're actually putting energy and light back in the body, which is, I mean, it's crazy to think that we're made of this, isn't it?
I love that. I think it's great. As a matter of fact, I've been doing a lot of interviews with this group that's called quantum biology, and
Oh,
they
love that.
yeah, and it's they do a lot of good work with in into the quantum realm and what the energy does and our environment and nature and all that. So I think it's really great that a lot of practitioners now are not only sticking to what they learned. Now they're like, wait, just like you're treating parasites for so long in certain way, but now you're like, wait, this might also has a different layer. And I think it's great because we keep learning and evolving and combining different things that we're learning. And I think it boils down to quantum physics, and it's just so fascinating. I love it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're totally on the same page for sure. I just heard about that quantum biology. It's like a school or something, right? My friend's taking
Mhm.
a course from it.
Yep.
So amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that at some point too. But yeah, it's the more that I do this, the more I realize how much of it is actually a foundation. Like if
Mhm.
we're vibrating out of tune, basically, then we're going to create a situation where any pathogen can overgrow, whether it's parasites or bacteria or fungus, mold, etc. So,
Mhm.
um, I can't tell you how much better I feel personally too,
Mhm.
as the more that I get tuned up and do these frequency treatments and release trauma and a lot of us don't realize how amazing we can feel until you go through this work and you're like, wait, I'm not supposed to be having digestive issues and I'm supposed to be able to sleep well through my night and I'm supposed to feel mentally healthy and happy and enjoy my life.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's great, and I love that. Yeah, I mean, changing just that state of mind of like we're not supposed to, feel bad as we age. We're not supposed to be sicker as we age. On the contrary, I think we should be like stronger and better and feeling good as we age.
yeah,
So I think it's
yeah.
really good. And when you do the vibration therapy, I saw you use a lot of the forks. Is that what you do as you're trying to kind of like combine that therapy to help with the parasites?
So when I work one-on-one with people, I'm mainly doing what's called the Zyto Evox. It uses this hand cradle, and you put your hand on the cradle, and I work with people all remotely, and I'm able to hook them up to a software on their computer, and then we can do these different scans and use voice perception reframing, and then it's kind of like a rife machine. I'm able to figure out where their frequencies are off in relation to the topics we're working on, and then we put the frequencies right back in them with that. I do some emotion and body code, and sometimes I do some biofield tuning in those one-on-one sessions, but it's mostly the Evox. And then my newer project that I've been doing lately, which has been I don't know, I never realized that I love this so much, but it's been biofield tuning. And I'm creating these little programs that people can do on their own and listen to these sessions on their own. And that's where the tuning forks come in. So as I mentioned, I will still
I love
I'm
that.
still available for that service one on one, but I can only see so many people. So, and then also my one on one service can be a lot for some people because what I found with this frequency work is people need a whole lot of it. And um, to see a practitioner all the time for it can be, sometimes it can do some up front, but to keep going, a lot of times it can be hard.
Hmm.
So the way the quantum works, you don't necessarily need to be there one on one. And
Yep.
I mean, I can't do a Zyto Evox, which is why I don't, why I still do that one on one. But the biofield tuning, I can pre-record these sessions, and the idea is whoever is meant to do the sessions is it's going to find them. They're going to feel called to it, and they're going to do it. And I just trust in that. And so, our body's like a magnet in that way. Our biofield is like a magnet, and so
Hmm.
so yeah, I do 5 sessions in these mini packages, and then I create a little workbook or ebook that goes along with it. So there's a little bit of coaching element in there and an area to reflect on the sessions, and um, and then they can listen to them over and over again too. So my one-on-ones, I don't pre-record them, or I don't record them at all, I should say.
Right. Right.
So they only have that experience and then they can't listen to it again. Versus these, like the more that you listen to the session, you actually layer on the healing process.
Hmm.
So, anyways, I've been really enjoying that, and I just I think a lot of it is because I hear instant results. Like
Yes.
I just can't believe that I could do a live with these, a live biofield tuning session, or I even restarted my YouTube channel with them. And all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, this trauma release. Like I feel so much better. I feel so much relaxed. And I mean to get those results with herbs, sometimes it takes days or months or years or,
Yeah.
but because of the way the quantum works, like if you're dealing with that root cause, like it's so crazy how people can already have some profound results even just with one session. What
Yeah.
even 30-minute session, I'm surprised. I do some of these the ones in my programs are 50-minute sessions. But some of the ones I put on my like free content online and my YouTube channel are around like 20 to 30 minutes and people are already seeing amazing things.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
I have those
That's
available.
amazing.
Yeah, and the main programs I have so far, I have a whole list of them I plan on creating um, is mitochondria frequency. So that's all about getting to the root of mitochondrial dysfunction. And that might be like a foreign language to a lot of people. But basically, if you have a health challenge, I boiled it down to the parasite. But what the parasite is doing is it's messing up your mitochondria. And so
Right.
you can't produce as much energy because of that. And pretty much anything that imbalances the body is going to mess up the mitochondria and cause a dysfunction. And that's why so many people have challenges with their energy and everything else that results from that. So even mental health challenges and all those other symptoms I mentioned earlier, there's a mitochondrial problem.
Hmm.
So it's meant to get to that root cause on a frequency level of our energy production. So people, can, you can't really say heal, but, fully balance their body.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
and then the other one I just finished is called Abundance Frequency, and it's all about abundance. So there's two main themes with my practice is I want you to fix your energy because I feel like that's going to fix a whole bunch of stuff. And
Yeah.
then what's after? Well, I want you to thrive. I want you to be able to live your life to the fullest, live your calling and purpose, and be able to be financially set and have all the good things that God has for you. So I didn't realize that this was set up to be kind of like the beginning and the end. And then
Love
now I
that.
have a whole bunch of stuff to fill in between, but I'm gonna work more on my on drainage and doing programs for frequencies related about around parasites and mold and things like that as well too. Because like in terms of drainage, if your liver, for example, is not vibrating correctly, you're not going to be able to fully be able to cleanse it well. So you could take all these herbs and stuff for your liver, but that's not the root cause. You could still keep getting a sludgy liver and gallbladder because of anger and resentment that is stored in
Exactly.
there. So, anyways, I hope that answers your questions. I know that was kind of long-winded,
No.
but I'm super excited about that project.
No, it's super great, and we can wait to see everything out there and for people to try it. I love that. And as I said, like we're seeing and trying to treat our clients in such a different way and not just addressing just the physical body, now we already know we're a whole body. We don't just treat the liver, we don't just treat the parasites because everything is connected. So it comes always down to we are not just the physical, we're also the emotional, the energetically, all these other extra bodies that we have that we need to see all of them out as ones when we're healing ourselves. So I think it's just amazing and great that you're doing that. So that's just amazing, and I hope a lot of people gets to listen to the YouTube channel, try your programs, all your free content that people can go and try it and see for themselves that this actually works. And it's just so amazing. I get also super excited about all these topics and different methods to keep on healing our body. So it's super great. I love that. So thank you for sharing. And I hope once everything is all said, we can still talk about it too. You'll come back to the show.
I would love to.
Yes. No, thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we go?
Um, oh, I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is, I always want people to know that there's hope, and if they're not at where they could be in their health or they want to be in their health, like don't stop searching. Actually, I don't even know why I'm feeling emotional because I stay. I've been doing a lot of projects, so I'm probably a little bit my neurotransmitter is off right now. But just it makes me sad when to think about people just giving up in their health journey because um think that they can heal or that there's answers for them. But I've reached that barrier so much with myself and with my husband, almost dying, and I just it kept me moving. I just knew in my spirit. I was like, I know that there's reasons. I know. I would never found the quantum if I didn't know that before I found the quantum, I knew that there was an answer.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want people to be left with that nugget is to just keep searching for your answers until you find them. Pray about the right type of practitioners to work with. Not everybody's meant for you. There's
Mm-hmm.
someone that can help you, and I don't think it's necessarily, I mean, you can do this alone, but it takes a lot of experimentation and time and money. And you'd be surprised how much money I personally spent to learn these lessons and trial and error and time. And so, if you find someone you trust, then work with them. They can help speed that process up. And yeah, it's a little bit of investment, but it can help you to fast forward your journey if it's the right type of practitioner, and do your due diligence, because not every practitioner is good. I've worked with enough of them with various projects I've done, and some know what they're talking about and some don't. So
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's amazing, you know. And if anyone wants to get in contact with you, where can they find you?
my website is thewellnesstrinity.com, and I do believe that we're offering your audience 20% off of the biofield tuning programs.
Hey.
So super excited about that and your audience being able to have access to them. Um, that is in my store. I know I should totally create an easier way to get to it. There is in my the Wellness Trinity store, there's a section that says programs. So you'll see biofuel tuning programs, and then you'll see the mitochondria one and the abundance frequency one right there too.
Awesome. And I will definitely put that link too on the show notes so everybody can just, get on that link. And if you want to try anything like that and get discount, you can go ahead and do that. And so thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for the discount for all the audience. Thank you everybody for listening today. If you need to know more about my show, you can always find me at alexbalga.com. You can find me on all social media. And remember, my book is out, so you can find it on Barnes and Nobles and Amazon. The title is Parents Are Greatest Teachers. You can email me or DM me if you have any questions about it. But thank you again. This all this information was so great, and I just really, your last words. Keep the hope. You know, if you're still not on the optimal shape and you are not feeling okay, there's hope. You can always find any practitioner that's gonna be good for you. So, and there's a ton of them. So definitely keep on getting healthier every day. Thank you everybody for being here today. Thank you, doctor, and everybody have a blessed day. Thank you so much.